do we really have the right to travel? Do these sovereign citizens actually have a point, or are they just talking nonsense? Because over the last couple of years, there have been an onslaught of attorneys making YouTube videos, commentaries, etc. that seeks to discredit anyone who's trying to enforce their rights. So in this video, we're just going to break down the right to travel with law, because they make it seem like so-called sovereign citizens are making up their own goddamn language when they go to court. But that's the purpose of propaganda, to make people seem like they're crazy when in reality, they're only enforcing a law that's supposed to be upheld anyways. Now, I simply Googled sovereign citizen right to travel, and it's the first thing that popped up. The right to travel is a claim based on a variety of passages, some being more commonly used among groups. Now, let's stop right there, because this is one of the tricks that they do. You see how it says the right to travel is claimed based on a variety of passages? They never cite the passages in which these right to travel claims are being based on. And the reason why is because all of these claims are stemming from case law, which stems from judges. It goes on to say, one common argument from sovereign citizens is that they are traveling and not driving because they are not transporting commercial goods or paying passengers. So now they're trying to make it seem like even though people are making the distinction, they're just making up some nonsense, because the everyday man doesn't know the difference between driving and traveling as it pertains to law. Even though they're telling the truth and breaking down the manner in which these so-called sovereign citizens speak, the tone in which they portray everything is always either condescending or articulated in a manner that makes it seem like what these people are doing is just something silly. Next, we're going to go to this policeone.com article, 5 responses to a sovereign citizen at a traffic stop. The sovereign citizen movement has become the bane of many police officers in the US. These people, and I got to stop right there. These people is a term that's used to ostracize or separate a people. And this is all verbiage used to create a profile and to group people as something that they're not. Textbook propaganda. So let me continue. These people feel that due to some contrived loopholes in the Constitution, they can declare themselves free and laws do not apply to them. Sorry, I got to stop it again, but they use a trigger word, and the trigger word is loophole. So whenever people figure out how to use the law, they always want to call it a loophole. And so they said some contrived loopholes in the Constitution, right? Well, I have a book here called The Oxford Companion to the Supreme Court of the United States, and let's see what it has to say about the right to travel. So this is under the topic and discussion of right to travel. In 1955, a lower federal court recognized the right to travel as a natural right protected by the Due Process Clause of the Fifth Amendment. So where's the loophole? Now, it may be an unenumerated right, which is rights that are not listed in the Constitution, but nevertheless, it's still a right. And it's protected by the Fifth Amendment, which we just read. But let's continue. These people feel that due to some contrived loopholes in the Constitution, they can declare themselves free and laws do not apply to them. And that part is very misleading as well. However, people who get their legal advice from Wikipedia find out these loopholes don't tend to actually exist. So again, you see how they play with people. They will never cite the actual case citation that these so-called sovereign citizens are using. They will say people are looking up Wikipedia articles in order to get legal advice. This is the shit they're not explaining. Now, I can easily rebut that article point by point, but I don't feel like wasting my time on it anymore. I want to get to this case, Thompson versus Chief of Police, which deals with the right to travel as well, because there's no misconstruing what the courts ruled in this case. The right of a citizen to travel upon the public highways and to transport his property thereon in the ordinary course of life and business is a common right which he has under his right to enjoy life and liberty, to acquire and possess property, and to pursue happiness and safety. It includes, in so doing, to use the ordinary and usual conveyances of the day, and under the existing modes of travel includes the right to drive a horse-drawn carriage or wagon thereon, or to operate an automobile thereon for the usual and ordinary purposes of life and business. It is not a mere privilege like the privilege of moving a house in the street, which this is a privilege because it's moving a house in the street, operating a business stand in the street, so shit like this, or transporting persons or property for hire along the street, Lyft, Uber, etc., which a city may permit or prohibit at will. But when these so-called sovereign citizens are saying that they are traveling and not driving because they are not transporting commercial goods or paying passengers, they are making a distinction between exercising a right which is protected by the Constitution and a limited privilege or benefit that is granted by the state. And there's a maxim of law that states if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. But don't try to shit on the people who know their rights and enforcing the rights and try to make them look crazy. Book reference, Maxims of Law. If a person neglects to insist on his rights, he is deemed to have abandoned it. No right is held more sacred or is more carefully guarded by the common law than the right of every individual to the possession and control of his own person, free from all restraint or interference of others, unless by clear or unquestionable authority of law. It is ignorance of the law when we do not know our own rights. Ignorance of those things which one is bound to know excuses not. Ignorance of the law excuses no one, for all are bound to know the law. Follow, like, and share for more content like this. Peace.